we had Alysa Liu making national news. Unfortunate updates from the Shibutanis. Sui and Han citing a new ice dance team, and so much more. Join me for early season happenings, where I go over the figure skating news for the past couple weeks. But before then, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more figure skating related content. I don't know about y'all, but I did not expect Alysa Liu to be showing up in kind of like news alerts throughout the day. So she made a statement that said, as many of you know, I recently debuted a new short program for the 25-26 season. However, in light of recent news, and of course, if y'all don't know, she is talking about the David incident where they found a body in his car and it turns out it was someone that he was dating underage, just a whole lot of mess. So anyway, and she said, my team and I are confidently pursuing a different direction that aligns with my values and just my overall ethos. I'm eager to start brainstorming new ideas and I want to ensure my creative process isn't rushed. So in the meantime, you may see some familiar programs. Thank you for your ongoing support. Well, then after that, in typical Alysa Liu fashion, she surprised us all by launching the fact that she's going to go back to her program Promise at the Louvet concert. And Louvet crowned her for being the best dressed at the concert. Now, apparently there was controversy about this. I didn't know the whole story about why people were complaining about her getting the best dress. And I was ready to fight for her homegirl. But also, it turns out, I guess there was a contest going on and the audience got to be a part of it. So maybe there should have just been two winners if this one was kind of maybe predetermined. Who cares? She really, truly did have the best dress there. So I'll still fight for you, girl. Speaking of Alysa, she also is now working with Nike, and they treated her like royalty. I mean, cookies. Is that champagne? Cookie, champagne, and fruit. So now she's on the Nike team. So we'll probably get to see more of her maybe in print ads or commercials around the Olympics. And speaking of collaboration, Ilia is now featured in promotional material for How to Train Your Dragon in this really cool commercial. I love when figure skating gets recognition, and this is awesome. So we'll probably be seeing that like 9 million times around the Olympics, and I'm here for it. Ekaterina Kurakova graduated with her bachelor's. So y'all, she was going to school while also skating. That is just so remarkable. There have been several news stories out about how Oksana Baiul is leaving her home in Louisiana due to financial difficulties and a divorce. And I've actually been following her story in Louisiana for a bit because Oksana Baiul is what drew me to figure skating. So I've just been intrigued by her. So it seems like actually maybe the bigger story is, yes, of course, a divorce. And that's probably why it would be difficult for her to continue paying on the house. But the backstory, actually, it appears, is she was promised an opportunity to either have an ice rink or have her own school or both of those in the ice rink. And that just never happened. I know she made several posts there for a bit discussing her frustration with all of this. So she ended up going to Las Vegas, or is going to Las Vegas, because she will have more opportunities there to have the training opportunities, the teaching opportunities that she was looking for. All right, y'all, this next story felt like a fever dream when I first heard it. And I'm kind of late to breaking the news because I didn't do a early season happenings video last week, but Rika Kihira transitioned to ice dance and has partnered up with Shingo Nishiyama, and they're training at IAM with the plan to attend the team event at the Olympics. I honestly don't know how I feel about this because, yes, she's been injured, but I just don't know career-wise how this is going to go for her because of how ice dance is and how it's all about momentum and your place in line. We did see snippets of their training to their rhythm dance to Mambo number 5, and I think it's just too early for me to really have a determination of how this team is going to gel well together. I do think it's going to be difficult, though, for them to earn the placement for the Olympic team event over Yoshida and Morita. Speaking of ice dance teams, I want to say this is a delicate topic, and if there are certain things pertaining to psychological abuse, verbal abuse that you find difficult, feel free to skip over this subject. I also want to state that yes, I am a psychologist, but when I'm discussing this type of manner, I am not discussing it from the perspective of diagnosing or practicing my license. I will, however, likely find myself talking about it from a psychological perspective, but I want to frame this ahead of time that I am not practicing unethically by diagnosing. So there is a video out there. Actually, there are several videos out there totaling about 30 minutes, and it is live barn footage of the Shibutanis practicing. What we see is a lengthy amount of footage of Alex Shibutani ranting and raving and insulting Maia. And there are some discussions in various platforms about how, this is normal sibling behavior or this is normal training ups and downs. However, there's some aspects of it that just not feel right or normal. So there is a difference between, let's say, you're upset with your sister, your brother, or someone else, and you may impulsively find yourself lashing out for like a minute. This is a one of these videos is 11 minutes long of him ranting and raving and insulting her. There's enough time for his frontal lobes to kick in and tell him to stop or for him to leave the situation. And it is very clear from her body language. Of course, we can't hear her if she's saying anything. It's clear from her body language that she has shut down. And this is just me saying, just from what I'm seeing, like she seemed as if she shut down in that situation. I must admit, though, I do know that some of my interpretation of this video is also biased from reading about how his ex-girlfriend in the past discussed how he was verbally abusive to her. So keep that in mind, but also what I'm observing, even if I didn't have that background, that information would raise concern about verbal abuse. And it also makes it more difficult when you think about how she is a cancer survivor, all they've been through, and it just feels, and it's just going to make watching them skate really difficult to know what's going on behind the scenes. And I don't know the woman in the video. I don't know if that's her coach. I don't know if that's their mother. And it really paints a cloud over their comeback. And I feel horrible for Maia in so many ways because she doesn't deserve her comeback being so clouded. And of course, now everybody has seen this video, and I'm part of the problem, of course, for talking about it. However, I also could not talk about how this does not appear consistent with normal behavior in siblings or training, and that this should not be expected, and that other people who may be experiencing what Maia is, I don't want them to think, well, it's okay for me to get spoken to like this, because a lot of people are saying this is just normal training. They haven't came out with any statements. I don't know if they're going to just hope, we've all moved on. And as for other figure skating news, though, I do recognize after talking about something so heavy, there's no real way to transition delicately into another topic. So I'm just going to go ahead and acknowledge this. So on to other news. Kamila Valieva, so she will return to training. She's not going to be training with a Terry per report. She will be at Nafka school. And when this was announced, a lot of people who've been following her career said this was actually no surprise for them because she's been doing ice shows for that school. I did watch a video of her skating recently, and unfortunately it wasn't in the happiest circumstances. She skated along with many other Russian skaters, ones that we have known and loved, to a tribute show for a sports commentator named Alexander Grishin. He was killed in a tragic accident. The stuff that I've read about him seems like he was a really positive person. There was someone on Reddit that speaks Russian that said that he always had so many positive things to say about the skaters, and that this is a huge loss. And you can tell from how Shcherbakova acted at the end of her performance, seemed so devastated. This was a huge loss for that community. And Alexander Trusova did a number as well, and just a beautiful performance. And I know people are going to come and leave me comments like, Alexander Trusova, you're saying she's skating beautiful. She really did. And she's postpartum, and she went out there and skated wonderfully. And it was so nice just seeing her and Anna again. And speaking of Sasha, that girl just doesn't know when to quit. She apparently restored her double axel because, of course, she would. She really is determined and a fighter. And while we're just talking about the 3A, Alana Kostornaia had her baby boy on October 3rd. And she's also apparently already discussing her comeback. So, major congratulations to her. In other Russian figure skating news, we also saw a massive quad throw. And I'm just going to say B in case so people don't come at me for butchering names. I'm really working on this. This is my flaw in life, and I'm working on it. But that was a massive quad throw. Like, I felt like she could have just kept on going. Zori Naki Gutmann had a collaboration with it looks like a children's book called Ice Academy. So that is so cool that she got to be a part of that and that she contributed to the book. So that is exciting. It said that she brought a little advice based on her experiences and emotions, and she tried to explain in simple words some elements of skating. So that is freaking awesome. She's just so cool. I fangirl her so much. Adam Saw Him Fall competed locally in France approximately like over the weekend, and he won, which was exciting. His short program was stellar. His free skate, I'm getting worried about him. I know it's early in the beginning of the season, but I'm just comparing, last season to now also. He had a phenomenal time this couple seasons ago in 2024, 2025. Since his injury, he just hasn't came back the same. I'm really, really, really hopeful that he just bounces back somehow. His axis just looks a little off when he's jumping. I do wonder if it's because he's trying to kind of chase the Ilia points and he's adding so many flipping quads left and right. But he looks happy here, which makes me happy because I'm such a huge Adam fan. And so it's usually heartbreaking to see how he reacts to his performances. There was also a local competition. All these weeks and competitions are now meshing together in Italy. So Daniel Grassl beat out everybody else. I didn't see the competition, so it's difficult for me to fully, comment on it. However, there does seem to be a pattern where Daniel Grassl will win like competitions with higher PCS and everything against all these phenomenal other Italian skaters. And that's all I'm going to say about that right now. Bradie, our girl Bradie. So remember how all of us were like, man, I wish she would go and do the young and beautiful program for her short program instead of what she showed us a couple weeks ago. Well, she did it. She listened. I mean, I doubt she listened, but somehow we were gifted with her going to this program. And Adam Reisinger, which is an active figure skater, blogger, content creator, he posted this video, and so I will link it in the comments so that you can watch it, see it, and give him some support. Speaking of figure skating bloggers, according to a post on Facebook and other social media, Peter Murray, who was an active figure skater blogger for it looks like a long time and used to be active, it seems like, in message boards and forums, has passed away, which is such a sadness to the community. And he just blogged about Dennis 10. So that was it's just one of those things, when you see it, you're like, oh, they were just blogging about something and now they've passed. So my thoughts are with his family and loved ones. Chock and Bates are always somehow on People Magazine's speed dial. And so there was an article about them and how they're preparing for the Olympics as newlyweds. I always forget, like, they're still considered newlyweds. In the interview, Evan said that he's excited about the material that they've made. They feel like it is unique, creative, and something different than they've done in the past, and that they're working hard. They mentioned they want to do better than they did before. It's something that Chock said in an interview, and basically said really sweet things about their marriage and how, of course, their bond is getting stronger. So basically, the gist is they're aiming to be better, doing unique programs, and love each other. And their bond just continues to grow. Maddie also designed Diana Davis's dress for her free dance, which is neat. She tends to do a lot of the Ice Academy of Montreal's costumes, which is neat. Brandon Fraizer was appointed a part of the ISU Single and Pair Technical Committee, which is some kind of position that's going to help them reach their goal for their Vision 2030. I'm not quite sure what that'll entail, to be honest, but he's involved in it, so we shall see how he can modernize ISU, which I wish I could have gotten enough information from their app before they stopped wanting us to all see their new app. I need to sit down and explore it if it's still here and they haven't removed it. I heard it was a train wreck, but I don't have enough information at this time to laugh at it or discuss it in detail. Oh, and the run-through is now on YouTube. And y'all, they put me in a conundrum. I knew the second that they said they are going to have an event at Lake Placid for Skate America that I was going to be done for. I don't think Skate America is no longer a question. It's more like, can I pretend that we're not dealing with our ungodly amount of taxes that we're paying and still go to Lake Placid? You know, I just really enjoyed their last event. I'll link it in the comments so you guys can watch it. It was just a really fun event, and they're just really cool and down-to-earth people and funny. And I also want to meet them again and do more than just stare. So see, I need this in life. This is just part of my goal. There was also a brief Sway and Han video of their training. I will link it down below. It's really not enough for me to make any kind of comment, although I did laugh because there were some discussions about how the camera panned away during their axles, but I'll link it below so you can see it as well. So maybe that news about them potentially not competing is not true. So we shall see. All right, y'all. I felt like there was a lot to get through. This will be the last episode of early season happenings, not because I'm stopping this, but because I feel like once the Grand Prix hits, y'all, it's done. It is time for figure skating season. But we still have another challenger and we still have Budapest Trophy this weekend. I am not mentally prepared for this wild goose chase of hunting down all the videos because I'm not spending $30 on this stream. I have made it clear to myself I'm not doing it. All right, y'all. See you next time. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more figure skating related content.